All right, fam, let's get through this. An article recently came out stating that actually it came out today, this morning. Damn, really? Okay. This is from the Washington Examiner, and it reads, "It's time for time limits on public housing." And I felt I needed to get into this because in agreement with this. I'm actually in agreement with a limit on all government assistance, government aid to people. I too was I went on public housing. Never been on Section 8, but I too was a recipient of food stamps for like my $2 when I was in school. They got Medicaid, and this went on for maybe probably like a couple of years, but I was using it to help me, and I didn't want to do it when I done it, but it was like something I needed to do, and I knew it was going to be a time limit that I was going to use it, and then that was it. But it came in handy while I was going to nursing school. I don't know if I was even in nursing school yet. I think I got up until maybe after like the first semester of nursing school, because after that first semester, then you can get a job as a patient caretaker at a hospital. So I think by the time I got ready to get that job, I was off of it. I might have been off of it for a little while before then. But anyway, like I said, those government aid programs, I had those for like a couple of years, and that was it. To me, you're only supposed to use it to boost yourself up to the next level. And that's exactly what Scott Turner has said, the new HUD secretary said in this article, brother, and the newly appointed by your president, our president, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, recently. But let's go ahead and get into this article and let's hash it out and see what we can come up with. It says, like other cabinet agencies, the Department of Housing and Urban Development is moving quickly to undo long-standing progressive policies. New HUD Secretary Scott Turner has asserted that the agency is now DEI free. Perhaps even more significantly, the agency is considering implementing time limits and work requirements for tenants of public and subsidized housing. Now, when you hear the word DEI, people get upset. They get in an uproar. Now, there are statistics that show that DEI didn't benefit Black people as much as we were led to believe, being the forefront of the movement to keep it, to protest against its dismantling. It just doesn't add up. We're like 4% of the people that benefited from this program, but yet we're like 70, 80% of people that you see, probably 90% of the people that you see on TV or out there protesting to try to keep it. It doesn't make sense at all. But hey, that's how the propaganda goes, right? It says, although we should expect howls of protest from tenant advocates as cruel and draconian, such a change would actually benefit subsidized housing residents by encouraging upward mobility, and it would benefit those in need of housing by helping to clear long waiting lists for subsidized apartments, which is true. I know someone who, let's say this, in a little town that I'm in, the wait list to get on a housing, and it's not even like, well, I don't know, to get the wait list to get on these apartments, it's like years, but it's a small town. So, but the thing about it, like I said, you have people who are on these, who stay in these apartments or who own these HVCs or whatever, HCVs, whatever, housing choice vouchers, yes, HCVs, and they're on it for like I say, 10 years, 10 plus years. And it's like, shoot, you got people on a waiting list that by the time they get on the waiting list, their kids is damn near grown. And it shouldn't be like that, right? But that's how it is. It said to understand why it's important to know the details of HUD's budget. In key ways, the agency is actually a vehicle for public assistance, which happens to take the form, let's scoot up a little bit, the form of a housing subsidy. The largest single line item in the HUD's budget is for housing choice vouchers, which allow tenants to pay just 30% of the income in rent. In fiscal 2023, some $30 billion of HUD's total $72 billion budget went to vouchers. In contrast, HHS, Health and Human Services, spent just $8 billion on the core assistance portion of temporary assistance for needy families. Cash welfare. The rules for the two programs differ dramatically. Cash welfare comes with a work requirement and a 5-year time limit. housing vouchers or residents in one of the 886,000 remaining public housing units have neither. Now, hold on. It says what? Now, it says the contract they suspend the rule. It's a cash welfare comes with a work requirement and a 5-year time limit. That's something I agree with. I think that should be with everything. With me, with all government programs. Matter of fact, the way I would do it, it'd be like a 2-year limit. Okay, let's say it like this, because taxpayers are paying this, so if the taxpayers, if we are paying food stamps, which is crazy how people buy food stamps from other people at pennies on a dollar when you just actually that's the money you gave them that money to get them food stamps and you bought them back. You paid taxes to buy back food stamps. Make it make sense. But I would do like say a 2-year program. It's like, okay, we'll give you housing, we'll give you schooling. That's the main thing. You go to college, get a degree, we're gonna figure it out, or you learn a trade. Either way, you got 2 years to get through it. What we'll do is we'll revisit this in like 18 months, 12 to 18 months to see exactly where you're at in this program. Sometimes things happen and you get a setback. It happens. So we'll let you get away with that one good time. After that, so let's say the 2 years is about to be up and you're not finished, but let's say you may need another 6 months, 8 months, a year to get the degree or the certification. Cool. You get a short extension. You do that, but like I said, in that time you get housing, food, medical, schooling, daycare. You get all that for just, and no matter how many kids you have, you can have a kid every freaking 9 months if you want to. Still don't get 3 years total. 2 years and an extension total. And that's it. And that's it. You get done, you finish the program. That means you can get you a job, make decent money, go out there and live on your own. Let the next person benefit from that and stop leeching. If you don't do it, well, sorry, you got to be kicked off and you got to go and work and do it yourself and go back to your mama and grandmama house and live with them so they can, because matter of fact, let me see something right quick. We're going to scroll over to here. And this is from propertymanagement.com. Let me see. That's you're looking at his Texas. HUD serves 258,297 Texas households in 2023, which ain't a lot. It's a lot, but it ain't a lot. But what I want to see is this here, public housing statistics. It says housing programs house up to 9.05 million Americans. It says 7.28 million Americans live in Section 8. Like I said, that's that 30%, only paying 30% of your of what you make towards your rent, which is what really everybody should do, whether you're on government assistance or not. However much you make, you should only be paying 30% at the max of what you make, which is kind of hard these days because rent is sky high. That's why you got to have. That's why rents needs to be brought down or controlled because these rents are so high. A lot of people cannot afford to stay there. But then it's all the reason why you should go back and move in with your family, and y'all work together to create generational wealth, like you would like to say. Now check this out. It says among Section 8 housing, 72.3% receive housing vouchers and 27.7% live in project housing. So only 27% live in project housing. The rest of them live in your neighborhood. When you look at stores like in Forney, Texas, when there was like this big, huge fight outside by this school, when I went and looked at the housing in that area, and these like newer looking houses, I mean, they're a few years old, but it's a nice looking neighborhood. When I looked it up in that neighborhood, it's a lot of Section 8 families live there. And I mean, I'm sorry, let's just, come on, it just comes with territory. Poverty brings on crime, brings on a need, because parents, single parents, whoever, 74% of public assistance households are female headed. These women either working 2-3 jobs, trying to be able to support their family, or they're not working and just hanging out and in the streets. Either way, the majority of them are not raising these children like they need to be. It say $17,200 is the average income per public assistance household. $364 the average household monthly rent expenditure. If you're only paying $364 for rent a month, man, you got it made. But What I want to say, what I'm trying to find is, where is it at? It says how many. Okay, housing vouchers, majority, HBC. Because what I'm trying to see, it shows. I know where it is. Hold on, because it shows it should be on here. God, it's not. Dang it, it's not. But anyway, it's saying that the majority. What I want to show you is not on this page. It's on a different page I saw because I'm looking for a chart. But what I was trying to see is that it said the majority of the people on these that's on public housings is uh, people over the age of 62. Like 47% are elderly people. So, like I was saying, you need to, let's say, move back home with your grandma because your grandma live in a government funded, tax funded home. The majority of them do. So, like I said, and that's where the cycle continues and continues to go on, and we don't get out of this poverty, and we don't have the generational wealth. And we have these generational curses and stuff, because you can't get out of this, can't get out of this rut. Let's see. As a result, housing vouchers. Say as a result, housing choice voucher tenants have lived in their units an average of 10 years, and public housing tenants 12 years. In the nation's largest public housing system in New York, the average is 20 years. That means there are a long waiting list for those needing help. A time limit coupled with a work requirement will align housing assistance policies with that for cash welfare assistance, which since welfare reform in 1996 has aimed to reduce long-term dependency. As it stands, housing assistance policy does the opposite. Because rent is fixed at 30% of income, an increase in income leads to higher rent. That's right. In other words, go ahead and read. In other words, upward mobility is discouraged. Why? What is no, say it's discouraged. What is encouraged is single parenthood. Exactly. Why is upward mobility discouraged? Because here's the thing: if the minimum wage is $7.25 in Texas, in order to be able to afford to live comfortably in Texas, anywhere in America, in a one-bedroom apartment, single, you have to make, I think, at least $17 an hour. If you got one child, it's like $21 an hour. It's not a whole lot of jobs out there if you got very little skill or trade. It's not a lot of places out there to live, or not a lot of jobs out there that's gonna pay that. You can go to Chick-fil-A and some other fast food, and they'll pay you like $15, $16, $17 maybe. But a lot of y'all got kids. So that's still not going to be enough. But the problem is, if you make that much money, now you're making too much. So now they expect you to go and find your own apartment and make your own way because you don't need government assistance no more. And then you can't do it. So what you're going to do as a single parent, or you can either move back in with your mama, daddy, grandma, or you probably gonna move in with an old no count boyfriend who ain't really about nothing, but he got a job, he make money so we can help y'all can help each other. That's stupid stuff. And that never works. So I mean, truthfully, you should go back and live with your parents. Y'all should talk it out, hash it out. I know you did something stupid, had kids at a young age, they kicked you out, they disowned you. Grandbabies come over all the time, but they still don't like you. You still can't come live. Kids still can't move there. They need to find a way to hash that out. So that way y'all really take care of each other, and not being there leeching and mad because she making you pay rent. Well, I gotta pay rent. I'm your daughter, and I got your grandkids. Psh, goodbye. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. But anyway, let's get back into it. But yeah, it encourages single parenthood because, like I say, just for that, if I stay a single parent, I get all these government vouchers. Matter of fact, man, let me look at it. I got another video I want to show right quick. I think this is it. Check this out.
I'm 30 years old, I have 4 kids, and I've been on welfare for 12 years.
Some people are on.
So she's been on welfare since she was 18. They want you to start young to do things like this to keep the cycle going, to keep you in poverty. Don't want to minimize that racial wealth gap. Y'all see this here? Total household. This is from the Brookings.edu. I did an article. I did a video about this like maybe last year or what have you, or maybe last couple years. And this shows you the racial wealth gap. And you see that in 2022, Black folks had in its entirety $6.53 trillion, right? White people had $119.79 trillion. Say it like this. Let's say you both want to start a business and you want to start business selling candy. So you're gonna go to Costco and buy candy in bulk. He got $119, almost $120 to spend. We're gonna put it like in dollars. You got $6.50 to spend. He can go and get a whole lot more candy. Probably pay the same price you pay for, but the thing is, because he bought more, he can really sell it cheaper. Maybe a penny cheaper or two, cheaper than you can. So now he got a leg up already. So he gonna use that. He can make, because you bought $6.50 worth of candy, worth of blow pops. You sell out pretty quick, and then you got to run back and re up at $6 after a while. This cat can re up at $120. Matter of fact, he can get $6 and go re up the same time you re up. But then he's still selling his old product. Every time you re up, he can re up. And his money is steadily growing, and your money is growing, but his money is growing exponentially faster than yours because he re up every time you re up, but he's still selling his old product. You see what I'm saying? So it's not, yeah, that racial wealth gap is not going to shrink anytime soon. But anyway, let her finish talking.
on welfare for a short period of time, while others take advantage and are on it for generation after generation. Do you live in government housing?
Yes, since I was 18, but they put me out because I didn't report my boyfriend living there with me.
To see how she said she had boyfriends, he was staying with her. You know, she was stupid enough to have him staying with her. And they found out about it. So she said she got kicked out a couple of times. So this is why, like I say, it promotes single parenthood because she get all these damn benefits.
Are you employed?
No.
How do you feel about that?
I'm comfortable with it, and I feel like I don't need to look for one because I get a check from the government every month.
No, she get a check from me every month and you every month. That's where she getting the check from.
How much do you collect in benefits?
I get $780 in food stamps, $500 in tennis, and I get Medicaid and WIC.
So she really only gets what she say. Oh, I didn't want to make it bigger. So she gets $580. She makes $580 cash per month from us, and everything else she gets free. Even if I got everything free, if everything was paid for, there is no way in the world I could live off of $580 a month. You can't. How can you do that? Especially if she got children. So she done had children since she was 18. So how? And she does not work. But again, she's afraid to lose those benefits. Because if she lose the benefits, now she got to get out there and she got to work. And she has to do for self. But again, you start them young, they fall into this trap, into this rut, and they ain't really trying to get up out of it. And again, this is wasted taxpayer money. Those with the lowest income typically get priority for a subsidized unit, and those households are typically single parents with children, the largest non-elderly group in public and subsidized housing. HUD data shows only 3% of households in all subsidized housing are comprised of two parents with children. And you wonder why they won't get off of it. Consider the impact of a time limit alone for non-elderly subsidized housing tenants. As a result, tenants would immediately have an incentive to plan for a non-subsidized future or move back in with your grandma who lives in a subsidized housing herself and ruin her life and run her neighborhood down with your little bad kids that you ain't watching. Indeed, a time limit virtually implies a work requirement. Faced with a short, it's amazing what people will do when their backs up against the wall. It's amazing. They may not want to, they may not think they can't do it, but they will figure it out. I get tired of people always saying that they hit rock bottom. And I always say rock bottom. No one has really hit rock bottom. The time knowing how you hit rock bottom is when you die. You will never know you hit rock bottom because once you hit it, you're dead. because there's always an opportunity for you to come up. You just probably made, if you made poor choices, bad choices, you just a lot of times put yourself, a lot of it is self-inflicted. So you can't say you hit rock bottom if it's self-inflicted. I mean, hell, Job got everything taken from him and he still praised the Most High and ended up getting everything back because he's still out there hustling, doing this thing, out there rebuilding. I tell you, people, story, you know what I'm saying? The story of Job was really interesting because, I mean, hey, it goes to one of my points that people need to respect your time, if anything. Nothing else, respect your time because you can get anything back. Materials, money. You can replace materials, money. You can even replace family. I mean, truthfully, you can even as bad as it sounds, you can even replace family members. You can even replace kids. You can't replace like those kids. You can't replace like your mother and father, but you can replace them with a father figure or a mother figure. You can replace people with somebody else. Somebody else can step in somebody else's role. Easy. How do I know? People do it all the time in relationships. All the time in relationships. So I mean, people can be replaced. And those people, they break up with people, leave people, and get with somebody else, and those other people still living. Or if they die or they go to prison, they can find somebody just like that. So people can be replaced. It's sad as it's saying, but they can't replace time. Joe replaced everything except time. But anyway, that's what I was trying to make with that one. Let's say mama. What was that? With faced with a short subsidy window, tenants would be incentivized to work and save for a looming exit. Ideally, and that's true. Most people. Some people believe that something they can still do the same things over and over again, and all of a sudden it's going to change. No, no, no. But like I said, you're not going to hit rock bottom until you die because you always got somebody's going to be able to bail you out, whether it be family, friends, the streets, or the government. You'll be able to live. You'll be able to live as a person to make it every day. Like they say, dope fiends go out there and will hustle for $20 every day. Do not be out hustled by a dope fiend. Oh, what else? Face the short subsidy window limit. Ideally, a time limit would be coupled with a flat fixed rent, which is the norm in non-subsidized housing. That would enable tenants to save more of increased earnings and to avoid the increased rent penalty that comes with having two earners. For example, through marriage. This would limit the revenue received by housing authorities, which own and manage public housing and administer voucher programs. But in a Doge new world, they would also be forced to do more with less as a result. So this is part of Donald Trump, Elon Musk, cut all that wasteful spending. I need my taxes going to things that I wanted to go to. John see the story where they told the truth about the Texas lottery, which is something I had spoke on before too, and how that lottery money don't go to the hood. The majority of the people who buy lottery tickets are poor people or people who don't have a lot of money. The majority. But yet those neighborhoods, if you go back, and I know the lottery been around since the 90s that I can remember in Texas. When you go back to those neighborhoods, they say those neighborhoods get 2% of the money that comes into the lottery. 2%. Which is why you got schools being shut down. People not going to school, but schools being shut down, programs being shut down because they're not getting that money. That Texas lottery need to go. All that gambling stuff need to go because it does not benefit anybody but the person holding the cards. And they're just using poor black people or poor people to make money. That's all. But again, we'll be the face, the 98% of the time be the face of a program like that, but only get 2% of the benefit. Lest this all be viewed as a pie in the sky, it's important to know that the time limit approach has already been tried successfully. In San Bernardino, California, the local housing authority has adopted exactly such a limit, although it delicately calls the term limited lease assistance program the 5-year rental assistance program. The authority notes that it is coupled with resources and supportive services to enhance economic self-sufficiency. After 5 years, rental assistance for a TLA participant ends. Then they go back and move their mama. The authority has found that such tenants actually tend to move up and out of public housing before the 5-year limit. Earned income for families in the programs increased on average of 31.4%. You see what I'm saying? when you get out there and do for yourself, then you feel better about it. I know I do. During their 5-year term of assistance, full-time employment increased by 20% and unemployment decreased by 26.5%. Another way to think about the results is that the culture of subsidized housing can be changed. On a practical level, increased tenant turnover would make it possible to help those stuck in long waiting lists. For instance, the agency responsible for subsidized housing in Los Angeles County has 30,061 apartments, but reports a waiting list of 8,637. The Milwaukee Housing Authority, which has over 100,000 units, reported a wait list of more than 121,000. Damn. The Baltimore City Housing Authority administers 21,000 housing vouchers, but reports a wait list for them of 27,000. A lot of times people go in and out of these. They get these vouchers. I read a book, what was it called? Oh, God. Evicted. And I think it was based, no, it wasn't in Baltimore. I think it was, what's next to Chicago? Green Bay? One of them, Wisconsin, Milwaukee. And it followed a few families around who don't make money on government assistance, got these housing vouchers and stuff. And they get these vouchers and they go from place to place, get kicked out from place to place, and they just move around the system. Ain't trying to do nothing. Ain't trying to do nothing. Ain't trying to do better. Ain't trying to do nothing better for themselves. Let's forget, not exactly emergency assistance for homeless families, nor does that number reflect those who have simply given up. Public housing has long been correctly viewed as one of the progressive movement's great policy disasters. It's been maintained so badly that the last decade has seen the demolition of more than 200,000 units. People do not take care of things that they don't pay for. Period. Period. You give a person a car, in a matter of I don't know how long. Give it maybe a couple of years, maybe. The car be tore up, run down, burn up, out of oil, brakes all jacked up because they ain't paid for it. They ain't put their money on it. You get somebody a house, give them free room and board. They ain't got to pay for nothing. Just lay up in your house and try to get it right. They eat all your food, run all your hot water, won't clean up in the room they live in, barely take a bath. Ain't going to try to go out there and look for work. Gonna sit there and just mope all day. Woe is me, I can't make it. Ain't even trying. Ain't even trying. In the perfect situation in the world. They are in the perfect situation where they can get any job and stack a little bread. And then once they stack some bread, they can go out there and like say earn or they could get a certification or get a degree, start making good money, growing clientele, or getting a job where they can start making good money. But no, woe is me. All right. But like I said, but they'll tear up your house because they ain't paying for it. But let them buy something. Let them pay for it. Oh, trust me, they'll cherish it like it's the greatest thing ever. But beyond the physical degradation of the projects, there's been a culture of long-term dependency both there and in the voucher programs initiated by the Nixon administration to replace new public housing construction. It's time to move tenants from dependency towards upper mobility. The time limit for new tenants is the right place to start. I believe that too. And what I want to do, I want to end it by playing this. This is from a movie called Poverty Inc. I remember seeing this. It's on right now. It's on what does it say? Prime, Apple, Google, YouTube, Amazon, Vudu, Tubi. You watch it on Tubi and Venmo on demand. You can watch this. But what this guy says here is perfect. It is exact spot on as to why we got to limit government assistance amongst our people in order for us to move up. You talk about that racial wealth gap. Where'd it go? This here. Remember that racial wealth gap here? This $5.3 trillion we got compared to this 119.6, it's $0.76 trillion wealth gap. This is why what he's saying right here is why that will never shrink. Or one of the reasons why it never shrink. Check it out.
I have never heard of a country that developed on aid. If you know of one, just let me know. I know about countries that developed on trade and innovation and business. I don't know of any country that got so much aid and they suddenly became a first world country. I've never heard of such a country. So the track is wrong. That track ends to nowhere.
And that's the same thing that happened in your neighborhoods. You get so much aid. Never seen a project building turn into $300,000 condos. Wait a minute, I'll take that back. what they do is they gentrify you up out of there, they raise it or tear it down, then rebuild condos, and you can't live there. You can't afford to live there. So I've never seen any projects, poor people become rich because somebody gave them something. Like you said, that track ends nowhere. It doesn't happen in countries, it doesn't happen in cities, it doesn't happen in your neighborhood. In order for you to become something and to make something of your life and to come, like you said, trade, business, stuff like that, to where you actually are doing the work, making the money, keeping the money in your community, and y'all working together to build up your community. Black Wall Street, what I'm saying? Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Like I told y'all before, yeah, it was bombed and burned down, but you know what I'm saying? But history shows that even without anyone except one person getting like an insurance claim, everybody else's insurance claim got denied. It was built bigger and better after that because the community pulled together, did what they had to do to build it again. And the only thing that destroyed it was integration and the other man's ice is colder. Simple as that. I got into the other videos, watch my older videos for more details. But yeah, that's the only way you're going to get better. I mean, that's why, if you're going to have programs, get programs that's going to teach you how to do something, not going to give you, what you need, teach you how to go out there and get it. I'm going to teach you how to do AI. I'm going to teach you how to be a software engineer. I'm going to teach you how to, work on these computers. So that way, when these computers shut down, or show you how to work on electronics and stuff. Because all this stuff is going into electronics and smart TVs and smart appliances and smart cars, smart computers. Those things are going to need to be upgraded, updated, or fixed or repaired. Somebody got to do it. Those are the jobs that you need to go after. Those are the trades and skills you need to go after. So, yeah, so things like that is what's going to build the community, not government assistant programs over and over and over again. And he's talking about what? Haiti got like billions of dollars. And they said that money, if Haiti's problem was all about money, Haiti would be one of the richest and most profitable countries in the world. But Haiti got the money, and the money got squandered by corruption and politicians and stuff and outside influences. I think and I remember watching this movie. I think they talked about who make them socks? Is it Bomba? Somebody makes socks. So every sock that you buy, they send one to Africa. Or somebody got shoes. Every shoe you buy, they send a pair to Africa. And these people were pissed because they're like, we don't want y'all to give us no socks. Show us how to make the socks so we can sell them to each other. And they're like, no, we're just going to give you aid. And these people are telling, no, we want to learn how to make socks, create our own, forget that. Help us build a warehouse. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a plant to where a sewing plant to where we can make these socks ourselves, make our own socks, and we can sell it in our own country. And we don't need your help. But the folk are like, oh no, we ain't gonna do that. No. We're just gonna give you socks. And that's to keep them under their thumb. So don't sit here and think that the government just all willy-nilly giving black folk and poor white folk and whoever else and these illegals just government aid just at the kindness of their heart. It's a money thing. It's a business thing. And it's to keep you in the situation. Yeah, we'll give you something because then you will be dependent on us and we can own and control you. But if we don't, and we show you how to do things and do it yourself, you won't need us. Excuse me. And then you might get the big head thing, you can overthrow us. And they're not going to have that. But anyway, hold on, let me play a little bit more of this.
There is a school of thought out there that I don't agree with, where indeed people think they owe the poor people to give them money without thinking about how they are going to use this money. Aid leads to more aid and more aid and more aid and less independence of the people that are receiving aid.
See what you said? Exactly. Aid leads to more aid and less independence. And so then you go back to the girl, say she's been on this stuff since she was 18 for 12 years. She ain't trying to do better because they giving everything for free. What she got to go out there and work for? But unfortunately, young lady, eventually those kids are going to grow up and you're going to have no skill. And then once they grow up, I mean, you're going to have kids for so long and so many deadbeat baby daddies for so long. You ain't got no job pretty soon. You're going to be committing crimes yourself. And you're going to be 50 something years old going to jail for shoplifting and writing bad checks.
Second, there's a wrong notion for people who have money or who give aid. They feel good that they're helping, but the best way to help is to help people to be able to stand on their own.
Yeah, so that's how I'm gonna play for this. Yeah, from this, go watch this movie. Like I say, Poverty Inc. Like I say, it's a good documentary. I remember watching this and I enjoyed it. It's very insightful. But I've always been a person that want to go out there and do for self. I never want nobody to help me unless I don't just have to have help. And I'm always the type of person that's going to pay back those who help me or be able to pay somebody back or to show my gratitude, appreciation for anybody anybody that helped me. So yeah, I'm all for this whole time. What is this whole time limit on government assistance? All for it. Oh, and another thing. I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, it's more white people on this government assistance than black people. Not housing. Not housing. Housing there are more, I think like 44% of public housing voucher. People who have public housing, 42%, 44% of them are black Americans. So it's not white. So it's not the white. White people got more food stamps. But I mean, think about that. Than housing. Don't really make sense because that means that somebody living in a house somewhere in a nice house, a nice neighborhood, getting food stamps. But not us. It would make it make sense. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. Let's have intelligent conversation. You know how we do around here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. The info things cost nothing but maybe a couple of minutes out your day, but it means the world to us here. If you would like to support us financially, you can get super thanks, super chats, super stickers, or you can go to the description box. There are links there below. You can click and support us there. Now, if you like something tangible for your money, and I know a lot of people do, man, hit that shop button or go to marlonmorale.com where we got products that I know you will love. We got perfumes, colognes, silk products, beard products, handbags, and we got more. Check it out. You're going to love it. Get some for yourself. Get some for your loved ones. Y'all won't be disappointed. And with that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.